You already should know once you hear my voice, it is Wednesday. Welcome back again to another G Code. And before we get into this, I'm excited to say when someone tells you you hit like a girl, tell them it's okay. Thank you. Well, this wonderful person coming up, she definitely hits like a girl, been on a world tour with a phenomenal artist. And it is just such a blessing to be able to see somebody's dreams come true at this magnitude. And all I got to say is just get ready, because she's been on Black Girls Rock, hitting like a girl. She's been on tour with Beyonce, hitting like a girl. And if you want your daughter, your niece, and whomever you may know to hit like a girl, this is definitely one of the stories you want to hear. So welcome to yet another Wednesday where I feed you and inject you with some dopeness, some greatness, and for you to be determined to get up, get out, go get your dreams, and always remember the pretty, the ugly, and the grind of success. Get ready for the G Code with my girl Joy, the drummer. What's up, my Go Getters? It's me, ADRI.V, the Go Getter. You already know. This is what we do each and every Wednesday, coming live in full effect via iTunes, via your phone, via your computer, however you choose to listen to the G Code. Again, welcome to the G Code. With me, I have this dope female. She is one of the illest on the drums, and you have seen her in many different places, and I'm not going to get into it just yet. I'm going to let her share, but she comes from my hometown, of course, Buffalo, and she represents so well, and it's great to know other go-getters out here getting it. So welcome to the G Code, Miss Joy, the drummer.
Hey, thanks so much, ADRI.V. I'm excited to be a part.
You know, I'm just excited to have you. Now, I don't want to butcher your first name because I know I have it, and I don't want to say it wrong because I normally get so upset because I know it's Joy Williams. But then the first name is beautiful, but I refuse to kill it. Okay, I just refuse. So you just share it with us.
Okay, so my first name is Vanzella. My middle name is Joy. So I usually go by Vanzella Joy, but most people, especially people who know me like yourself, just call me Joy, so that's cool.
Yes, and so we all, I will say the world knows you as Joy the drummer, and being and becoming Joy the drummer, where the heck did the drummer come from? Like, how did this all get started?
Man, I've actually always kind of been interested in like music and rhythms, beats and things like that. And my parents kind of recognized it at an early age. So at age 6, my dad bought me, it was like a toy drum pad type thing. Like, it was battery operated, it was made by Yamaha, and it had like 4 drum pads on it. And it's like you could, hit the pads, change different sounds, kick, clap, snare, stuff like that. So I was messing around on that for a while. And then at age 10, my dad bought me like an actual drum set for Christmas, and that's kind of where, I was able to kind of really hone in on like the drum talent.
Wow. And you know what? Thank God for parents, because my mother brought me a karaoke machine, not because I could sing, I can't sing forever, but because I just wanted to record myself talking. So those toys in the beginning, early stages of life really have helped.
Look, I'm telling you, they will shape your creativity, kind of help mold you into, what you need to be until you get on to like the more professional gear, the more professional stuff. So, man, legit, definitely grateful for those early childhood toys.
Absolutely. So, being able to understand what is it you wanted and what is it you were passionate about at the early stage of, you just said, what is it, 9, when he finally got you the other set. What were some, things that really push you to keep going, and were there other people in the industry that you looked up to? Because I don't really know a lot of female drummers, and so being in that particular area where it's not something that's popular when it comes to women, how were you able to hone in to say, you know what, this is what I'm really going to do, and this is how I'm going to be successful because such and such is doing it?
Man, that's a great question. Like, my roots are in gospel music, so I came up playing, and still do play in church, but came up playing in church. And at my home church, when I was, kind of becoming interested in drums, there weren't really female drummers in the church.
Yeah.
So I looked up to the guys that were there. Like, at that time, Jesse Miller was there playing drums, Rob Sells, Marcus Sells. And I just thought they were like uber cool. So
right.
I would hear them every week at church, sit next to the drums, watch what they were doing, listen, even ask them questions and stuff like, what are you doing? How did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. And then as I got exposed to more music like outside of gospel, that's when I discovered people like Sheila E. and like Terry Lynn Carrington. And I was just like, wow, like somebody like Sheila E.
Right.
You know, in all her femininity, like
Cold.
rules the stage, rules the drums, and she's just like fabulous in all of it. So like that's been my thing. Like, you know, some people kind of deem the drums as like a male dominated instrument, which it is. But you know, I try not to label instruments by like masculinity or femininity because it's music, you know, it comes from the soul. But, you know, just with being aware of those labels, like I just stay feminine, you know, try to stay cute with it. Like just because I play drums, you know, I don't have to walk around looking like, you know, Tom, Dick, or Harry or whoever, you know, like I can still be true to myself as a woman because I'm a woman first. And, you know, just still try to be dope at the craft. So I studied like all the gospel drummers. And then once I broke from that, I started, you know, listening to Sheila and Terry and like, you know, Aaron Spears and Dave Weckl. So, you know, of course the gospel scene. But once I kind of branched out is where I kind of like really started honing in on like different styles and different drummers.
And that's what I love, because what you said is something that really rings true in so many areas, that you didn't decide to put a masculinity or more so, you know, like a gender to a particular instrument, you know, and that's true, just like a gender to a particular position. And despite it being male dominant, you decided to come up in this joint and dominate it anyway. Okay. And that's what it's about. I'm so pro woman. I think I'm a feminist at heart. It's just like, I love to see a woman step into a ring where it says, you know what, most men are the ones that really does this, but I'm gonna roll up in this joint anyway. And you definitely rolled up in it. So let's, you know, start from, you know, 2009. You are a part of the show called Making His Band. One, what made you audition for this? And two, did you really think that you would get a shot?
Man, that's crazy. 2009 was a crazy year. Like, I always watch like Diddy shows like every week. Like,
Me too.
The band season, like from Dylon Spit Hot Fire.
Oh my God, like... Dylon Dillinger. I rhyme and I spit hot fire. Yes.
Dylon. Like, I watched that season all the way up into season, what was it, 4 or 5, where they had both Danity Kane and Day 26 on there. And I was like, man, like, I love this show, whatever, blah, blah. And, like, on the last season, Diddy made an announcement. He was like, okay, he was like, for the next season, he was like, well, I'm paraphrasing. He was like, I'm looking for a band. I'm looking for background singers to go on tour with me and Dirty Money. I was like, oh. And he was like, I'm holding auditions in 4 cities, LA, Chicago, New York, and Detroit. Like, guitarists, drummers, bassists, keyboard players, and background singers. And right when he said it, like, as I was watching, I was like, I'm going to go try. I'm going to go do it.
You spoke it out.
So, I spoke it. I was like, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to try it. So, I actually auditioned in 2 cities. I went to Detroit first because it's, you know,
it's real
as
close.
For driving, it's closest to Buffalo. Yeah. So I went, made it through maybe like 2 or 3 rounds, made it to like the second day of auditions and got turned away. And I was like, oh, man, like disappointed beyond belief. So then the next weekend, the auditions were in New York City. And I was like toiling, like going back and forth, like, should I go back? Should I try again? Or if I got kicked off, like that means it's not for me. Like, just trying to figure it out. So like, I feel like I got a sign. Like, I saw like this random billboard. Like, I guess it's not random, but I had never noticed it before. And it was on like Main Street and like East Ferry or something. And it was like,
we're in the heart of the
all the Buffalo people.
Right.
And it was like a billboard of Diddy. And I'm like, I've never noticed this billboard before. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to just take this as my sign to go back and try to audition again.
Right.
So went back to New York City and like blazed through all of the rounds, made it to LA, ended up moving into the house, like the mansion that they had for like all the finalistic contestants, and made it through like a bunch of rounds in the house, and then got kicked off again. So I was like, oh man, but you know, in all of that, like I learned a ton, and I was just kind of like, you know, why not? I kind of have like that why not mentality. So,
right.
Like, even though I got kicked off, you know, from the whole Diddy gig, didn't make the band type thing, like I learned a lot and made a lot of like really, really important connections.
And so, like, I can only imagine the feelings that you have each and every time you had to come up and compete, or you had to audition for your spot and go against somebody else. Because I remember watching it when I found out, I was like, well, we got somebody from Buffalo that's on here. Everybody is tuned in, you know, everybody is really going in watching this and supporting it because you were present. But along the lines of being on there, and like you said, you toyed with the idea of going back to New York, you know, and to audition after having had the chance of auditioning and being kicked off. You know, that's a lot, that's resilience. And so you decided to do it anyway, and you go through this whole show and then get kicked off again, but you did not stop. Like, you continue to still drum, you continue to really push yourself and promote who you are. And so, you know, I talk about the pretty, the ugly, and the grind. You know, that is the pretty. The pretty was, we got a chance to see you on television. We got a chance to see you, you know, be amongst one of the greats, which is Diddy, right? But the ugly, I can only imagine what you had to deal with, or the how you felt when it came to getting ready for each time you had to go up there and compete. Like, what were you thinking when you had to get up there and perform to solidify your spot?
Man, just super duper nervous. I was just like, man, because, like, you know, Diddy was very cordial, very cool, you know, but at the same time, like, he's a very powerful person. Right. He has, like, a very powerful presence. So, like, you know, between performing in front of him and the other judges, like, it was kind of intimidating in a way. So I was just like, man, like, super duper nervous. So, like, I think that's actually what got me the round that I got kicked off. We were playing, like, some 80s tunes, and, you know, for whatever reason, I was just, like, so tense and so nervous. And when I get like that, you know, when I'm playing, it kind of affects my playing. Yeah. And I think that's, you know, part of the reason why my playing wasn't up to par, you know, according to what they were looking for on that last show. But, like, just the preparation of it, like, not getting that much sleep because you're up learning music for hours and hours, and, you know, just being nervous and just knowing Diddy and the crew could pop up at any time. So right. As for that situation, that was kind of the ugly. Just, like, you know, spending so much time working on the music, different changes, last minute changes and things like that. The stress among other contestants, you know, kind of rubbing off on you type thing. It's just like a super grind. And being away from home. Like, right. At that time, I was in college at Canisius College and based in Buffalo. So being that far away from, like, my family and stuff, that was a strain too. And I was only, like, I think I was maybe 20 at the time. So still kind of young, you know. So all of that, you know, I would consider that kind of like the ugly in that situation.
And so you were able to, so you had a chance, and then you felt like somewhere, oh, dang, you know, I blew it. So how were you able to even bounce back and keep going after that? Because that's the part of having resilience and deciding, you know, despite it all, I'm going to still pursue my dreams. Now, what did you feel like, what was my next step in that?
Man, it's kind of crazy. Like I say, 2009 was crazy because, like, the cool was that I was able to go and do the Diddy show, but I also lost my mom in 2009. So, like, she was like a woman of strong faith. Yes. So before she passed away, of course, like, she told me one day, she was like, I see your dreams coming true. And that's, like, something that I, like, hold on to, like, during times, like, you know, the Diddy show, for instance, you know, I would think about that, or, like, you know, just I could hear my mom's words just resonating with me. Right. So in the case where the Diddy thing, I didn't make it. So I'm like, okay, what's the next step? You know, where am I going to go from here? What's going to happen? So, like, I was in college at the time, too. So that was my junior year in college. The next year, I graduated, bachelor's in criminal justice, minor in music.
Criminal justice, like, where did that come from? We're going to talk about that one later. That threw me off. I expected music. Like, I'm like, what? Criminal justice? But go ahead.
I tried to, like, brush by real quick.
You did. That was real quick. Like, nope, that stuck out. Red flag. What?
But, like, I don't know, like, I always felt like I was destined to do music. And, of course, keeping the words that my mom said, keeping that present with me. But I was like, for whatever reason, if music doesn't work out, I'll have a solid, you know, backup plan in criminal justice or whatever. Right. But, you know, just, I don't know, it's just a certain determination and a certain drive when you know something is for you. So after being disappointed and, you know, shedding a few tears over the whole Diddy thing, I was like, okay, if Diddy's not for me, there's something else that's bigger and better, and it's going to be in music. So I was just like, man, just on to the next, just still grinding, working. I got to a point where I was shedding drums, practicing like 6 to 8 hours a day. Like, I know something's coming. So it's just like, when you have that faith,
right,
you know, you got to put the work behind it. Just keep working.
Faith without work is dead. Like the body without the spirit is dead. So
come on, talk about it.
Listen, so you really hit it right on the head. You know, despite all the odds that came against you in 2009, and really holding true to the words that your mother said, you kept going. And what you did, like you said, having that faith, you were preparing. You said something is coming, something is on the way. You didn't know what it was. You ain't know where it was coming from, but you continued to prepare. You continued to stay on point. So how the heck? Okay, now I just want to say this, Joy. You are that chick when it comes to the drums. One, and I know this because I got a chance to check you out during church services, right? And I remember having Bound, you and your band. And so yes. And I always thought you guys were dope. I was like, wow, this is so dope. So in preparation and preparing for something good on the way, and like you said, knowing that something is for you, and just keeping your mother's words resonated deep down inside of you, and knowing it, and probably playing it always when you start to get discouraged. How did this gig for you to work with one of the most major artists in the world come about? And we're talking about Beyonce. And I mean, you're officially a part of her band. How did this even come about? Okay, this is, although you spoke this in the beginning, and we know you spoke this, but how did this all play out for you?
Man, that's so crazy. I was actually just telling this story today, and it's amazing to me. Like, it's still surreal just because, like, I'm still such a huge Beyonce fan.
Right.
Like, but anyway, like, as for the Diddy show, like, you know, I kind of talk about this a lot, but I really do feel like everything is like divine order. So, you know, with auditioning to be a part of Diddy-Dirty Money's band, like that not working out, I met a fellow contestant named Derek Dixie. He was also auditioning on drums.
Okay.
And we just became real cool even after the show. Like, he made it further on the show than I did, but we would hit each other up like, hey, how you doing? You know, just seeing what's going on. He'd be like, how's Heaven Bound? How's blah, 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 you know. So he eventually ascended to the position of Beyonce's music director. So he was who called me in December 2013, around the time that her surprise album dropped. And he was like, you know, just basically telling me that the position opened up type thing. And he asked would I send a few videos playing some of the songs. I was like, oh man, like, heck yeah, like, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
So I sent some videos and played some of the tunes, whatever. I actually recorded it like in my basement with my MacBook on like, what is it, iMovie. Like, did it just, you know, real grassroots.
Wow.
Sent that. A couple of weeks later, he hit me up. He watched the videos, the boss watched the videos, management, and it was a go from there. So it was just like, you never know. Like, when I first got kicked off the whole Diddy show, I was like, man, like, what was the point of that?
Right.
Like, I spent all this time, you know, trying to do this, spent money traveling to auditions and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, fast forward, 4 years later, you know, it all makes sense. Like, you made a divine connection, you know, with Derek Dixie, who's now Beyonce's music director, and he was the one who called you to, you know, play your dream gig.
And when you say your dream gig, like even when we discussed it, you know, as we talk inside the G code, you know, you mentioned wanting it, and you mentioned, you know, speaking it, and it just all comes together. And so you have traveled all over the world with her tour. What other things have you been doing on top of being a part of this dope band? Because, you know, you made a band. Although you got kicked off his band, you made her band.
Come on. I like that.
Girl, we got to use that, okay? Because it's her story in the making, your story in the making. This is so dope.
Man, I'm just so grateful. Like, so we kind of travel a lot, like with B. Like right now, we're getting ready for Made in America, which will be like my first time playing Made in America. So I'm super excited about that. But during the downtime, like when we aren't on the road with B, like I work on a lot of production, a lot of writing. Also, you know, play with some other artists and things like that too. But she's like the main artist, so it's like, you know. But I do a lot of writing, production, and stuff like that. I do drum clinics, like go to different music colleges and clinics as in, like, I'll play and kind of teach what it is I'm playing, kind of do some instructing type things. So, you know, I try to keep it busy.
That's what's up.
You know, we're not on the road with the queen.
And speaking of keeping it busy and other artists, you have your own work that, you know, I got a chance to get privy to. So let's talk about that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, like, I've released a project in May of this year called Orange Moon, The Unwritten Phase. And it's a small body of work. It's an EP. It's 5
Listen,
songs.
we're not going to play it down, okay? It's a large body of work, okay? He said, it's a small body of work. You're so cute.
That's funny. But, like, you know, like, I feel like people know me, like you said, as Joy the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
So with this project, like, I wrote and produced everything. I had a couple co-producers on a couple of tracks, but as far as the concepts and ideas, like, I created them. So I just kind of wanted to show people, like, a different side. Like, I'm doing some singing, and I kind of want people to know that, like, I write and produce. So with the EP, it's like every song is completely different. Like, there's a trap song, there's an instrumental song that's an odd meter, there's like an inspirational song, like a more dark sounding creative song. So it's like, you know, just so people can kind of hear, like, oh, like, Joy produced this, and in hopes of, you know, maybe getting more placements and being able to produce for other artists. So I'm kind of excited to have, like, my own material too.
That is really dope, and I already know that you've been pushing it and doing different interviews, and it's really a dope piece of work in general. So all my go-getters that's listening to this G Code, make sure you get out and support my girl. And where can they find it at?
Oh, I appreciate that. It's on, it's everywhere digitally.
Nice.
iTunes, Bandcamp, Amazon, Tidal, and all that stuff.
And I'm going to make sure we play it after this, after we get done with our interview, so we can give them a quick sample to encourage them to definitely go out and purchase. Now, as you know, like you said, you're working on things now. You know, what is next for Joy the drummer? You know, what is next for you? Because you have accomplished a lot within your short time on this earth, right? And, you know, despite the many obstacles, you still continue to push forward. And like I said, although you didn't make his band, you definitely made her band. So along the way, you know, what are some G codes? You know, that's what I like to call them. Of course, the show is called the G Code. Things that you've learned that have been success tips, things that you have really kept in your mind and that really push you from time to time, that you have to go back into that, that notebook and check out some notes of, you know, to keep you going and staying motivated.
Man, that's brilliant. Like, I would definitely say, like, stay open type thing. Like, you know, we kind of have certain goals in mind, certain aspirations, as we should. You know, we should always have goals that are attainable and certain aspirations, but, like, just kind of be open to, like, the universe, or, like, open to God's plan. So it's like, you know, if you have, like, one goal in mind, you're like, I absolutely want to do this, like, I need to do this. That's cool. You may accomplish that. Hopefully you do. But if God has another plan for you, you know, be open to that and just kind of listen and be aware, be very conscious as to what the ultimate plan may be for you. Like, that's the biggest thing to me. And, like, you know, just speaking things into existence, really believing it and putting the work in behind it. Like, you know, I spoke it. I was like, one day I'm going to play for Beyonce. Like, it's going to happen somehow. Gonna happen. It might not happen right now. It might not happen tomorrow. It might be 5 years from now, but it's going to happen. So just having that faith and then putting the work in behind it. Like, even before I got the gig, like, just in my practice time, I would practice some of her songs.
Wow.
Like,
so you were ready.
Not to sound like stalkerish or anything or like a stan, but I'd be like, okay, let me practice some of her material, you know, just in case, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, just being open, just having strong faith, networking, working hard. So, like you said, resilience. I think that would probably be like a good theme. Like, just be resilient. Like, if you get knocked off your feet, like, okay, if you want to stay down for however long to kind of recoup, okay, do that. But don't stay down for too long. And make sure you get right back up and just bulldoze through the next door. Like, what's next? Look for it, anticipate it, and, like, really work towards it.
And that's pretty much it. And those are my girl, Miss Joy the drummer, G codes: resiliency, staying open, networking, of course, having faith and putting the work in, and speaking everything into existence. My goodness, you gave us a lot of G codes. I appreciate that.
Man, I appreciate you.
Thank you, girl. It's right back the same. Now, tell the folks how they can follow you, They can support you wherever they can, really hang out with you, whether you do Periscope, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever your social media platforms are while you're on the road or just working. So let them know how they can definitely be a part of the drummer team.
For sure. Like, I'm on Instagram the most, and my tag for that is Joy the Drummer, JoyThedrummer. The same for Twitter. And I'm not on Facebook as much. Like, Facebook is a little different, but you can catch me on there sometimes. That's my first and middle name. That's Vanzella Joy. I just started a Periscope. I haven't created any videos yet. But
you got to do that so they could get an inside scoop of how you out here jamming during your sessions.
Man, that would be kind of cool. I need to step my game up as for Periscope.
Oh yeah, that'd be, because it's live, so it would be great. Yeah, I would tune in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, I got to get that going then.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely work on that. So all my go-getters, please make sure you support my girl Joy the Drummer and understand the G codes that she just dropped on you. Take those codes and utilize them for your everyday life, not just today or tomorrow, but forever. And keep in mind that once you get knocked down, get back up and keep going. And in her words, bulldozer right through it all. I just want to say, Joy, thank you so much for coming into the G Code and definitely chopping it up with us and dropping your codes with us.
Man, thank you. I'm super appreciative, man. Hashtag G Code.
I love it. All right, go getters. We are signing off. And on that note, make sure you check out this musical suggestions and the musical selections by my girl Joy the Drummer. And don't forget to check out the name of the LP again.
It is Orange Moon, The Unwritten Phase.
On iTunes and any place digital that you can make a purchase. Okay. I love you so much for checking in with us. As always, me, ADRI.V, the Go Getter. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at all things ADRI.V, the Go Getter. And always remember, welcome to the G Code.